and welcome to Reliving My Youth. My name is Noel. My guest this week is actress Ellie Cornell. Ellie played Rachel Carruthers in Halloween 4 and 5, and she had pretty big shoes to fill, following the departure of Jamie Lee Curtis's role as Laurie Strode, following Halloween 2. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, went a completely different direction. No Michael Myers, no Loomis, obviously no Laurie Strode. But they wanted to kind of go back to basics in Halloween 4, the return of Michael Myers. Obviously, Michael Myers returned, Dr. Loomis returned, but they needed another final girl to replace Laurie Strode. Enter Ellie Cornell, fantastic version of Rachel Carruthers, the adopted sister of Jamie Lloyd, played by Danielle Harris, who was Laurie Strode's daughter, who did a fantastic job. And Halloween 4 is probably one of the best sequels in the entire franchise, except The Mask of Michael Myers. Talk a little bit about that. Ellie talks about getting the role, the stunts that she had to do, hanging out with Danielle Harris. And then Halloween 5 was rushed into production, and it clearly shows. It kind of basically destroyed whatever Ellie did with Rachel's role in Halloween 4. We discussed that. We also discussed horror movies in general. She also had a small role in Free Enterprise, starring William Shatner and Eric McCormick. She also was the executive producer of the movie. She discusses how that whole project came about. We also talk about what she's up to these days. Really enjoyed my conversation with Ellie, and I hope you do as well. Ellie, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate your time.
My pleasure.
Yeah. So we're in November now. I mean, we just passed Halloween. So are you a big Halloween person? The holiday, that is.
Yeah, I think it's fun. I love that everyone gets kind of the let loose and bring out their alter egos. And um, I mean, in New York City, people really go all
Oh, yeah.
out, and it's super fun and festive, and it's weird, but it's fun
Mhm.
weird, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's where I am now. And,
Yeah.
we see all, the
You're
parades
in the
every
city?
year. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And, yeah, I mean, sometimes you see people just dressed up and it's a normal day. And, October, early October, November, even March. So it's New
Yeah,
York City, so you never know.
I
Yeah,
know, I know.
yeah,
But no, I like it. I think it's a lot of fun.
yeah. Did you being in the movies, did that change your perspective of the holiday at all?
Yes, I would say so. Like it's always kind of it was nice this year because the key well, like Danielle Harris and I and the director, the writer, the DP, we all kind of wrote to each other, and it was our 38th anniversary. So I think we'll plan something fun for the 40th. But it's amazing to me that we all keep in touch. We all have such great memories of it, and we're really, really proud of this little movie because we got the 8 p.m. time slot on AMC, which is not nothing. There's a
Yeah,
lot of horror films out there, and we seem to be a fan favorite.
yeah, absolutely. And it's movies you can watch all year round. I know, like
Yeah,
AMC,
yeah,
basically plays them on loop, the whole month of October. But
yeah.
it's, just because it's called Halloween doesn't mean you can only watch it in October. It's,
Right. But it
it's watch it.
stands up, and I think
Absolutely.
it's a testament to Alan McElroy's writing, and obviously, I mean, Dwight Little's directing had everything to do with it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes it so watchable still. Like it's I don't know. I think it was like a little tiny lightning in a bottle.
Yeah, and there was so much pressure I feel in the movie because the third one went in a completely different direction. I mean, people
Yeah.
love it now. I mean, it's kind of going on its life of its own now. But
Yeah.
it was the 10th anniversary of the movie
Right.
when the four came out, and just to bring back Michael Myers, there had to be a lot of
Oh, I didn't
pressure.
realize it was the 10th. Is that true?
Yeah, 1988.
Oh, that's interesting. No, I
Yeah.
didn't realize it had been 10 years since three.
No, no, no. I mean, what it was, I guess it was 78 when the first one came out.
Oh,
So
oh,
it was
oh,
like
oh,
10
oh, oh,
years since the first
from the
one.
original. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. And they always
Yeah.
seem to like
Well, I think
release
that's why
movies
they
then.
cast, I think that's why they hired, I think I read this right in Dwight Little's book about his directing career, is that Mustafa Akkad, the creator of the whole franchise,
Right.
really wanted to get it right to bring it back, and so I think it was a very deliberate decision to do it right.
Yeah. Was there any pressure? Did you feel any pressure on you, like being kind of like the final girl, especially after, Jamie Lee Curtis did it
I
in two
think
movies?
I really appreciated I was really grateful because how do I explain this? Like um I knew it was something. Like it's a little bit of an obviously
Yeah.
Jamie Lee Curtis is Jamie Lee Curtis, but uh I thought it was really cool to be the lead in a well-known franchise. No doubt about it. And I didn't realize this. Um and I didn't know it until I read Dwight's book, but I was not the first choice for
Right.
Rachel, which is fine,
Yeah.
Um, but that made it even cooler,
Yeah. And
you know?
yeah, it was Dwight who fought for you, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 Because I think the LA contingency wanted something more, someone more modelly, and I think Dwight was like, no, she's got to be more
Midwest.
homegrown.
Yeah.
Yeah, more girl next door. Yeah, yeah.
Right. I mean, it does
Because
take place in
it's a
Illinois.
Midwestern
Yeah.
story,
Right.
It's not in the
Exactly.
Valley,
Right. Exactly. It's not on the pier or like, in
Yeah,
Florida or anything like that. It's, yeah,
yeah,
you got to play, the all-American, girl.
yeah.
Yeah. So how many auditions did you go on before you actually landed the role?
Um, okay, so when I was back in my ingenue days in the late 80s, having just gotten to LA from New York, I read somewhere that the odds at that point was like you get about one in every 40 auditions.
Okay.
And I'm not kidding when I say Halloween was either my 39th or my 40th. Like it was right on the money. To me, it didn't feel like I'd been auditioning that long, but luckily I had auditioned enough so that it's a little bit of a pressure cooker as you get closer to landing these roles. And then you come back to screen test. And then I do this thing. I don't know if all actors do this, but I was getting very close to a lot of big projects. And every time I'd get that close, you begin to kind of own it. You take real
Right.
ownership over it. Um, and if you're not careful, you can kind of shoot yourself in the foot. So it's like you have to stay calm, keep your focus, do what you did the first time, and just go in and kind of do it. And, that's where being professional and having a little bit of experience really comes in handy because you want to be a good listener.
Right.
I mean, very often when you're getting close to something and they like you, but they want to make adjustments, it's like playing ball with the director. You want to really listen to what they're asking for and turn it around and give them that, right? It means they're playing ball, which is a good thing.
Right.
It's when they say, thank you very much,
Yeah.
without anything. They're
Right.
like, okay. And that's okay too. That's part of the business.
Yeah. Like on these auditions, were there ever like pieces of advice that you were given, or you would just say, well, we're going in a different direction?
Okay. So I learned this from Bryan Cranston, and
Okay.
because he's a master, and he just says, go in and do your job, leave and move on to the next one. And it's true. Like you can't take it personally.
Right.
It could be any number of reasons. And um it's just interesting when I look back on the auditions that I did get. Like my very, very, very first professional audition was in New York, and it was for a Texaco national commercial. And I'm not kidding. I'm not exaggerating. It was me and what felt like hundreds and hundreds of models.
Right.
And all the models were they seemed to me like not jaded, but not the happiest campers. They looked a little bored, and I was lit. I was so excited to be there. And I always try, it's been a great journey for me. So I'm very optimistic and generally a happy person. So I got in there and blew my lines so badly that it made myself laugh. And I
Right.
love to laugh at my own jokes. And I think it was that kind of break in the pressure that made the casting people go, okay, that was weird and interesting. And they cast me. So I think it's just what I've really learned is be yourself, bring your personality to it, like you in that role. But um, I mean, that's all I have.
Right.
I can obviously make adjustments and things like that. But at the end of the day, they want what you bring because that's more interesting, than just about anything. I don't know. Does that make sense?
No, it absolutely does because
Yeah.
when the words are on the paper, but you have to
Yeah.
read it, you have to interpret them, and
Yes. And
you can
whether
just read
it's
it in front of you, but it's not really going to project
no,
what
and
they
that's
want.
really important because whether you're doing a play, it doesn't matter. But I never mess around with the written word. I
Right.
really try not to because it's just like that's their job, and I respect that craft, and they're that's what they do. So
Right.
I don't try and go in there and
Yeah.
manipulate it or throw in an FU or I don't know. It's just better to be really disciplined about it because you never know when you're going to work with a director. Um, I heard about a television director that is it by the book. And so that always occurred to me, like, what if he casts me? Like, it's a really good thing just to get used to doing.
Okay. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's a small world because you don't know
it
when you're going to
is.
work with somebody again, and
Yeah,
you don't want to
right.
burn any bridges. You don't want to leave a bad taste in someone's mouth.
Yeah. And yeah. And they're hired as writers for a very good reason.
Right.
Yeah. My job is this, their job is that.
Exactly. The writers aren't going to act, so
Yeah.
you're not going to write
Yep.
something
That's
for
a
this
good, that's a
particular
good
role.
point. I've never
Yeah.
heard of it that way.
Right.
Yes.
And if they want to, then God bless them, but they're
Yep.
not going to.
That's right.
Yeah. Was there any actress or actresses that you always saw on auditions and you're like, oh, here we go again?
Oh, that's such a great question. I remember I think it was a Disney project that I got cast in shortly after Halloween, and I saw one of my soap idols, like from
Okay.
a soap opera, going up for the same role.
Okay.
Um, I got to where I was in there with actresses that worked a lot, so I kind of knew what my type was. It was very
Right.
obvious.
Okay.
Um, and I was lucky because at the time, um, it fit what they were looking for. So they'd bring me in a lot. And it was just a thrill. It was a thrill to be reading up against
Some of these
movie
people.
stars.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
Right. Because I always got like this like Elizabeth Shue vibe from you.
Totally. Yes.
Mhm.
And she and I both read for Cocktail.
Okay.
And that was so cool because I was in the audition room with Jeff Daniels and his wife was in labor.
Oh, wow.
And he said, they're probably going to call you back. I think it was Jeff that said this, or the casting people. They said they want you to come back on Monday. And I think Jeff or someone said, I think it's because they're going to have you read with Tom Cruise.
Okay.
So all weekend I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
And I didn't, and I don't know what transpired, but that's okay. It's all just
Yeah.
so much fun and
Right.
such a thrill. And it's the same thrill of like I think what was nice about Halloween is that it kind of I feel like I skipped ahead of a line of sorts. Like I didn't start in these little
Okay.
teeny tiny lines and work my way, it's like I went
Yeah.
boom.
Right.
And so from there, just the thrill of being able to be on the studio lots for auditions. I mean, that is so much fun. It's so iconic. You're like, it's,
Yeah.
but again, it's like leave yourself enough time to park. You know, if you only have an overnight, because very often they only give you 24 hours to
Okay.
prepare, you just do the very best you can. And don't trip over yourself,
Yeah.
you know?
Right. Yeah, that's so true. I wonder how many like actors think about all the particulars about parking, finding a place to park, traffic, how much time you got to put in. That's
It's
actually a good thought.
true.
I didn't really thought
And
about
and in LA, back then we
Yeah.
didn't have
Cell
Google
phone.
Maps. We had the
Exactly.
Thomas
That
Guide
too.
with
Yeah.
600 pages in it. And boy, I had that thing down. And I always
Right.
said, 2, usually 3 different routes to get somewhere, because then you get cast in a job. And if you've got to get out to a nighttime set in Arcadia, you've got to get right through the worst commuter traffic imaginable. You better have a plan B and a plan C.
Right.
I mean, that's part of the gig.
Yeah.
It's not just that time on set. It's,
Exactly.
and it's also the you're prepping or resting for 2 or 3 hours while they're setting up the shot. You're in hair and makeup, and then you shoot for 20 minutes and you stop again. It's such a funny way to
Right.
make a living.
Yeah. Well, like when you're on set, what do you do during your downtime?
I always I really like the crew, to
Right.
be perfectly yes, there's an important time to isolate and really focus,
Yeah.
rest, do what you can. Um, but I like it's such a group effort, and every person on there, even the people that pick you up in the middle of the night and drive you to the set,
Right.
they have a family, you know,
Yeah.
they're working 12, 14-hour days. So um I think when I'm on set, I really try to focus on why I'm there. And it's hard when you've got kids at home and you're missing a science fair,
Right.
and night shoots are funky because as soon as you hear that first bird chirp, it's a wrap,
Yeah.
you know? And then you're back in the taxi and back on a plane home. So my job is really to be there and be professional and be rested and
Right.
be ready.
Yeah. Because there's a reason why sometimes credits are 5 minutes long because so many people work on a particular movie, and
It's
and you don't
incredible.
realize it.
And they're all equally important. They're
Yeah.
all hardworking. I've never, knock wood, everyone has always been nothing but incredibly respectful of each other, all of
Right.
us. It doesn't make sense to, if there's like a DP or an AD or second AD that's really crabby and they're a shouter, it it brings everybody into that energy.
Totally.
So the nicest thing I feel like I can do in my part is show up, be ready, be mindful of hair and makeup, not take extra time away from, like when you're futzing around, there's 30, 40 people there going, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Especially those night shots because you're racing the clock.
Yeah. And you can't
And
stop
everybody
time.
wants to get out of there on time.
Yeah.
So it's really it's really important to not be too self-centered.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, everyone's different, and I'm a born people pleaser, but that's just my take because I feel like if I want to be treated as I treat other people as I wish to be
Yeah.
treated. Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's like, brought up that way too.
yeah,
I mean, totally. You don't want to be a little diva on set or be,
right,
a prick or something like
right.
that.
And people are really respectful. Even
Yeah.
I haven't done much convention work. But the ones that I do, even seeing the public, everyone's been always
Right.
super respectful. Yeah, I'm just really lucky. It's
That's
been a
great.
really, yeah, up and up.
Yeah. And I've gone to a lot of conventions, for work and also just for fun. And you notice, the crowd there, you can tell the difference between the fans who really want to be there just for the excitement or the collectors. You can totally tell the difference. And,
That is so true. And it took me a while to kind of catch on to that. Um, yeah, there's a whole world of the collector thing out
yeah,
there. I mean, yeah.
yeah. I mean, I'm a collector, but I'm not
What do you collect?
that a lot. Well, can go into it with Free Enterprise too, but I'm a big
Yeah.
action figure collector. So when I
Oh,
saw
cool.
that scene in the movie really cracked me up, being
Oh,
into
yeah.
Us and whatnot, and then kind of bestowed it to my son. So
That was
now
taken right from our producer, Mark Altman, who's one of the biggest Trekkies on
start,
the
yeah,
planet.
exactly.
Yeah.
So now being my age, I use it as an excuse, giving it to my son, so I kind of
Yeah.
say I
Oh,
buy it
that's
for him.
cool.
But yeah, and stuff like that. It's great.
Yeah.
My wife doesn't appreciate it, but
I know, but we
that's
all,
how
come
it,
on.
we all have something.
Well, we all have our things,
Absolutely. So
and that's what makes life exciting.
yeah, absolutely. And I want to get into particulars about the movies in 2 seconds, but after you shoot like a very intense movie like Halloween 4 and Halloween
Yeah.
5, how long does it take for you to kind of like decompress and kind of get out of that like character?
I suspect that, if you have a long a long career, it probably gets easier. At the time, I was really young and pretty green, so it took me a while to kind of adjust to set life. It is very different than anything I've ever done or
Right.
have done since. Um, so it's weird to kind of step out of your life. Your mail's piling up. You haven't seen your family in weeks. You've been so immersed in this experience.
Yeah.
So there is a state of adjustment coming out. And I would imagine most actors would say something similar. Um, and that's what's so cool about it. It really is. I mean, I think it's one thing if I was going home to my house and going to the set every morning, that's
Right.
probably different because, your family and friends are right there. But location work, it's like, it reminds me I'm at a destination wedding, and it reminds me of the same thing. Like, but by the time the weekend is over on Sunday, you're closer to all the guests. You've all had this really cool communal experience together,
Right.
and filmmaking is very much that
Yeah.
way.
Right. Kind of like a summer camp type thing.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. But you work really,
Hard.
really hard.
Yeah.
Um, everybody, like I
Right.
said, everybody. There's no slackers that I've
Yeah.
seen.
Right. Because if you slack, it'll probably be your
Yeah.
last job. So
And it's, sometimes like the producer's kids will be on the set and they go for the craft table. They're munching on their licorice, things, and that's all fine. But meanwhile, the world is swirling around them. And um, I'm also mindful when I'm not working to kind of step out of the way,
right.
you know. I mean, I'm always touched when, like if you get invited to look at the monitor, it's kind of fun to see the process, but I try and kind of step back and let them do their jobs.
Right.
And when they need me, they'll come get me.
Exactly.
You know what I
Right.
mean?
No, absolutely. It makes total sense. You don't want to be
Yeah.
in the way, and
Yeah.
it's, they're not going to be, in your way when you're doing your job. So it's,
Yes. But to
yeah,
answer your question, yes, there's always a decompression period.
yeah,
And
right,
you're also, it's probably like, climbing a huge mountain. I mean, it's like you're tired too.
yeah,
So, that's where the self-care comes into play and you just keep going.
right, yeah. So the character of Rachel,
Yes.
basically she wasn't the, we talked about the California bubbly,
The sexy one?
bimbo, the sex symbol, but you did have basically, a trace of, Laurie Strode, who felt Jamie Lee Curtis wasn't like that anyway. I mean, she was gorgeous, you were gorgeous, but in a
Oh,
different
thank
type
you.
of, a different type
Yeah.
of way. So did you watch like the first two movies and kind of get anything from her, or everything was just on your own?
No, I'm not that I wasn't that clever. No, I really didn't and I still don't. Like if I'm doing a play, I'm really mindful not to. I mean, I've played characters that have won Oscars
Okay.
in the film versions of the play I'm doing. So the last thing I want to do is
Is
watch
watch their
a
performance.
performance.
Yeah.
Um, we're different animals, and I think there's room for all of us to create, our take on it. Um, I got Rachel very early on, like on the page when I read the script, I
Yeah.
was like, okay, I got this girl. I have a good sense of who this gal is, but I didn't watch anything or anyone or no,
Right. Okay.
no.
Yeah. And
So good stuff is the
yeah.
instance, right? It's
Right.
not copying or it's
Yeah.
not even
Absolutely.
taking a whiff of something. It I don't know. It doesn't, that's not how I prepare.
Right. And I feel like they did a good job separating the two characters. Where,
1000%.
I mean,
Yeah,
obviously you had your stepsister,
right.
Laurie had, the two kids that she was babysitting, but it was completely, different.
And even like the dynamic with Brady,
Yes.
it's like I finally am dating Mr.
Yeah.
Popular.
Right.
I'm not screwing this up. So even that that conflict in my
Yeah.
character was totally different from whatever Laurie Strode was dealing with. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. Totally.
And I don't think the writer, that's a great question for Alan, but I think they wanted something different, but I don't think
Yeah.
they wanted, like I loved Kathleen Kinmont's character, the sheriff's
Yeah.
daughter.
Yeah.
You got to have that too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Yeah. And you basically, you're upset that you couldn't go out with Brady, but then you realize that, Jamie's well-being and Jamie's,
yeah,
entertainment was, key
yeah.
also. So you just took her
She's
trick-or-treating.
definitely, that I think helps any good script is when the audience can see themselves in the character.
Right.
And Rachel had a lot of compassion.
Yeah.
And I think in the end, a lot of most of the characters had a lot of like they were human
Yeah.
beings, weren't
Right.
um cutouts of, they weren't caricatures. I never ever felt like Rachel Carruthers was a caricature of anything,
No,
which
I
is
agree.
I think what made her likable.
Yeah. And usually in these, and I wouldn't call these slasher movies, so to speak, especially the first couple
Right.
of Halloweens, then, blew up with Nightmare on Elm Street
Yes.
and Friday 13th. But there's always characters you want to see die
Yeah.
in these
Or
movies.
you just you don't care about them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. But I
They're like
felt,
dispensable or
yeah,
disposable or whatever.
right.
So I
And
knew, yeah.
I felt like, even Brady going with, Kathleen came out, but he still had, the courage to, protect
Yes.
you and fight Michael Myers.
That's so true.
And Kathleen came out, with the tea and serving everybody, even though she was supposed
Yes.
to be, the mean bimbo, which she really wasn't.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
That's such
it
a good
was,
point.
yeah, it was such compassion for for these
Yeah.
characters. Whereas
I've
otherwise,
never heard that interpretation. That's awesome. Yeah.
or the other one's like, whatever, just make it gory so we can move on to the next character. But
Yep.
it was really sad to see those characters die.
Yeah. Well, and I remember reading when I got the Halloween 4 script and read it, I was blown away that I lived all the way to the end.
Right.
Like, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. Because especially you had
Because you're
Danielle
just
who lived
looking,
as well.
you're looking for the end. And
Yeah.
obviously, when I got Halloween 5, I was like, okay,
You
here it
know it's
comes.
coming.
But
Yeah. Yeah. We'll get to that one in a second. But there are two scenes that you are famous for in that movie. It's the truck scene where you run over Michael Myers,
yes,
of course.
I
And
swear
then,
I've seen that in other movies. I'm like, that's Rachel Carruthers.
yeah, right. Because I think you're probably the first one to do that at that point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the shifting.
The shifting and everything like that.
Yeah,
Yeah. So going through that, obviously you're shooting it and they're gonna add everything in post, but when you see the final product, were you kind of like blown away of like how complete it was?
I was blown away, and like the prop guys had the 2x4s under the truck bouncing on it, so it looks like we're driving. And Danielle and I had to react to the guy's getting his head ripped off, but there was no one there. So we're like reacting to nothing. But you can still act as if, right? That's our job.
Right.
And you get, we can all imagine anything happening. That's part of our preparation.
Right.
And if we didn't nail it, that's the director's job to say, Ellie, like Dwight really prepped me for the fire hydrant scene in the high
Okay.
school when I
Right.
come in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it needed to be that high of stakes. And so that's his job as a director to make sure that we're nailing, the high stakes level. But what a thrill when after post, when they add the special effects, the music, the pace of it was so
Yeah.
great. and the editing was so cool. And we're just a little slice of it, but boy, when it comes together, it's really exciting.
Right. It's truly the magic of movies.
It
It
is.
really
It is.
is.
It's really cool. It's
Yeah.
really awesome.
Yeah.
And it's
And that,
why we do what we do.
yeah, absolutely. And why the special effects people do and the director and the
But
rest
I
of the
was very
crew.
mindful. I remember being on set. If I had an intense scene, like we all prepare differently, but one of my preparations was to listen to certain music, really get,
Yeah.
isolate myself in that way. Um, so there was never a point where, like, if we don't believe it as actors, you're not going to believe it as the audience
Right.
member. I firmly believe that because
That's so true.
I've seen scenes where I'm watching the actress cry, but I'm not impacted by it, and I can't figure out why. And
Right.
my sense is that she really wasn't impacted. I don't know, but not in any of the things that I worked on, but it's something I notice
Right.
because I go in, and I'm sure you do too. I think as audience members, we go in willing to go where the movie is going to take us. That's
Right.
the fun of, right? So you go.
Yeah.
So I feel like my job is to really get there emotionally.
Right.
And that's what we're paid to do is to get there.
Yeah.
So however you get there, but
Right.
you got to
It's
get
true.
there.
Yeah. Because when I leave the theater, I want to be emotionally drained in a movie like that. I
1000%.
just want to see, what did I just watch for an hour and a half, 2 hours?
Yeah.
I want to be like, oh God, I'm
And it's
exhausted.
entertainment, but
Yeah.
I want to be moved.
Right.
Like that's the lights go down. That's why we have those big screens. And the business has changed so much with streaming and all that, but it's such a different experience
In the
than
theater.
seeing anything on the big screen.
I agree.
And you're with all these people
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
It's a different world. I hope we get back to that
I hope so too. I mean, like
way.
there are some movies where you can just watch at home, it's fine on your big screen, but like
But some, yeah,
there's some you need to be in the
yeah,
theater with people and hear their reactions, laughter,
yeah.
screams, and
But you
yeah.
know what? They're still doing. I just saw Weapons with,
Oh, me too. Such a
yeah,
good movie. Yeah.
so great,
Yeah.
so great, and that was small screen. But I don't know. We had a blast, and I don't watch a lot of horror. That's a
Okay.
very. I mean, I know people ask me. I
Yeah,
just don't.
right.
But I really enjoyed that
Yeah.
a
And yeah.
lot.
And the
I
what
thought the director hit it out of the park, and of course she was fantastic. Yeah, it was really exciting.
yeah, and it wasn't, I think there was maybe potentially, I think, one gory scene
Yeah.
where the principal with his
Yep.
face, but other than that, it was all suspense,
Yep.
and I feel
Yep.
like
And I loved. Okay, here's what I've noticed about um, especially horror film,
yeah,
probably Trekkies too. They are very intelligent.
right.
They are, and they don't like to be dumbed down to.
Yeah,
And
I agree.
what I liked about Weapons was all the subplots. It's like, wait, what? What's he for? Why'd they put that there? You know, you
Yeah,
don't really know. They're
right.
kind of they're throwing you the breadcrumbs, the Easter eggs, right? They call them
Yeah,
Easter eggs. But
and they're yeah.
I like breadcrumbs because I like to be surprised.
No, I agree too. And then like
Yeah.
they're intertwined. The scene in the background is the scene that we're going to see later, featuring a different character, and it's yeah, absolutely. I kind of felt like with horror films, the less score, the better. It's when you throw it in by
1000%.
suspense. That's why I loved Blair Witch Projects so much.
That's a great one too. Or like eh, I'll, M. Night Shyamalan's Signs, right?
Signs. Yeah.
It's so freaking good and
Yeah.
so scary. And then, even seeing the pause under the closet, the pantry closet, I was out of my mind. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know what the alien looks like, but it's like as soon as I saw the alien, I'm like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
I can square that. But it's like it's the not seeing.
I agree.
That's what keeps me on the edge of my seat.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But
Uh,
Weapons gave me a lot of faith. I'm super
yeah.
pumped that
Yeah.
films like that are being made.
I agree. It came out of nowhere, so I'm kind of hoping it does well
Yeah,
next Oscars, because I feel like
I think it.
it
I think
could.
it will. I think she's going to take it away. I
Yeah,
really do.
yeah, I
That
hope
was
so.
super, super brave.
Yeah, it was, and she was great in Ozark and everything else, and
Yes.
yeah, yeah, and then she
Yeah,
was just
she's
in
always been a
Fantastic
favorite of mine
Four.
too.
Yeah, yeah. I think she's playing Madonna in her biop, so that should be interesting to see.
What?
Yeah,
Really?
Julia Garner. Yeah,
Oh, wait, no, you're right. Yeah, she is.
yeah,
Yeah, that's true. Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
That should be
Oh,
pretty
she's
interesting.
gonna nail it. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So back to four now. We
Yeah.
talked about the truck scene, and the other famous one is the roof scene.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, and I heard there was a protruding nail that kind of injured you
Yeah.
a little bit. So what's
Yep.
like the
I got a
folklore with that
scratch
one?
sliding down in
Okay,
that dang sweater I was in for the entire shoot. With the bare midriff.
okay,
It wasn't as bad as the press portrayed, but yeah,
okay.
I definitely hit something.
Right,
But the other thing is like the adrenaline, and it was cold that night, and we were out in the desert, not the desert, outside in the mountains of Utah, where they built this fake rooftop scene, and it was still pretty far off the ground, but nothing like a real house. But the stakes were still high physically, you know?
yeah,
So part of my job as an actor too is um to kind of be in shape. Like, here's the weird thing. I didn't know when they cast me in that. They weren't like,
yeah,
by the way, Ellie, you're going to be carrying this girl on your back up and
right,
down and in the,
yeah,
and luckily, I don't know, it wasn't hard to do, but the technical challenges, how not to twist an ankle. And you've
right,
got medics standing all around and the insurance people freaking out. And obviously they bring in stunts if there's, the production's job is to keep us safe, but you still got to do the work,
right,
you know? But that was tremendous fun. Really,
yeah,
really fun to stage that.
right.
And like, where else are you going to go? There was also this sense of like,
Yeah,
you're
for
at the
Halloween.
top.
Yeah,
There's nowhere
exactly.
else to go,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So I'm assuming like you did everything but the fall from the roof,
I
right?
did everything but the fall.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and that, there's a couple really funny, not, they're funny. They're comedic almost, but it really tickled me when they had me fall to the ground and I'm like, okay, I'm up.
Yeah.
Where is she now? It's like, what?
Right.
She would have been completely
Yeah.
knocked out or something, but she just kept going.
Yeah, exactly. I guess that's also happened to, Loomis a lot where he
Oh
Mike
yeah.
throws him through stuff and the, guy's already, brittle and
Yeah.
frail, but he still gets up. But
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, speaking of Donald Pleasence, I mean, he's such a presence in all the movies that he's done. What was the experience like working with him?
Awesome. In Halloween 4, he stayed at a different hotel, so we didn't see each other outside of the set. And I really didn't have that much one-to-one interaction with him, but on 5, we
Right.
had quite a few scenes, or just time getting ready to shoot. And he was so lovely and so professional. And that's what I came away with about someone with that kind of experience is that there's no not bullshit, but like he didn't waste a lot of time. It's like you're focused, you go do your job, you step off the set, you go,
Right.
it's like you don't want to call attention to yourself or be too noisy or speak too loud or
Right.
you don't want to be that person when they say action. You don't want to be the person that's talking. You just don't. Like you've got to be mindful.
Right.
Um yeah, but he was
Yeah.
so sweet and lovely and
Right.
really quiet.
Yeah. I feel like as the series went on, he kind of I want to say became the Loomis became kind of a caricature of himself because it kind
Yeah,
of but went a little more overblown. I,
I
I,
know what you
I
mean.
felt yeah, as opposed to like the first two and then four, where five it was just I think out there, and then
Yeah,
six he was already kind of in failing health, but
yeah.
you still got
No, I know
that
what you mean. There was, yeah, and here I am like, what's my motivation? What's my
yeah,
objective? And he's just like, boom, 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 boom,
right,
boom. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
yeah, I know what you mean. But I was, the funny thing about being young and inexperienced is that, you don't really understand the gravity until you're kind of,
Yeah.
and we didn't know it would do so well,
Right.
just for what it was.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking about anything other than playing Rachel Carruthers. And
Yeah.
then there's this ridiculous story, but I think my agent and I had gone to see it together, but or maybe I was with them, but we had gone to Westwood in LA, which is where they premiere a lot of films. And we went to see Halloween 4, and there was a line around the block. And I was like, what are you guys waiting in line for?
Right.
And they're like, Halloween 4. I was like, whoa. I mean, talk about a thrill,
Yeah.
And then I went to the ladies' room, like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's me. And nobody
Exactly.
recognized me.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Right. Did you try to sneak out in the line saying, I'm in this
Yeah.
movie,
I mean, here's the deal. Like, I'm so lucky just to have had that experience.
Yeah.
Like just to feel what that feels like
Right.
was such a blessing, because we all work really hard, and even the auditioning process, it takes it out of you. And I know it's part of the job, but at
Right.
this point, I mean, it's multiple hundreds of
Yeah.
auditions that you don't get. I mean, that's life.
Right. No, it's
So I
true.
feel like I was really, really lucky
Right.
to
Yeah.
strike.
Right. And they say in baseball, if you hit 300, which means you get out 7 times, you make the Hall of Fame. So it's one way to look at it.
Yeah.
You'll
Oh,
fail more than
that's
you succeed, but when you
yeah. Oh, I love
succeed,
that.
you do
You're
well. So
full of good knowledge.
I try once in a while.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. And Danielle, I think was maybe 9 when she shot the first one, 9 or 10, I feel.
For some reason, 11 comes to mind, but you could
Okay.
be right. I can't
Okay.
remember. But she was obviously very, very petite for
Right.
her age, but uh, just so great to work with.
Yeah.
We had chemistry from day one, and um, I don't know. It was just, her mom was around and was, obviously very protective because, she's a child on
Right.
set. But again, everyone, me included, we were all very protective of her. And I don't know, it really became like a family, truly, truly. And there's something about having a child on the set anyway that there's just a level, it levels up the respect, the respect
Yeah.
level goes, I feel like, we're mindful
Yeah.
about our language, or
Right.
how is she
Yeah.
doing? Is she getting what she needs? Is she,
Right.
getting tutoring in? All those
Yeah.
requirements really important for a
Right.
reason.
And especially the nature of the film as well.
Exactly.
Dealing
Yeah.
with that. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think that's got to come straight from the director. I
Right.
feel like he really sets the tone.
Yeah. And I read somewhere where George Wilbur, who played Michael Myers in that movie, would constantly take the mask off to Danielle to show,
Oh yeah.
I'm
Oh, yeah.
just an
See, it's
actor.
me.
I'm
It's
playing.
me.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
me. Don't worry. Which is
Yeah.
a great thing to do as
It
well.
is. It is. Yep.
Yeah. And then because the two of you, I think, filmed basically almost every day of the 40-day shoot, right?
I think 39 of the 40.
Wow.
But it's funny that you say that about Danielle, because when I was watching Weapons, I was thinking about the little
The boy,
boy.
yeah, he was
Yeah. And
great. He was so good in that.
he was amazing.
Yeah.
But that definitely, it's a big consideration, I
Right.
think, for, again, for the director, how to have a respectful set.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, do they have like child psychologists on set, like for the nature of a movie
I
like
don't
that?
know. We didn't, I know the director said of Weapons that it was
Yeah.
a really difficult scene with the dummy
Oh, yeah.
when they,
Right.
um, I don't know the answer to that,
Okay.
but I think that's, I, I'm almost certain that there has to be some consideration in that way.
Yeah, I agree. Especially, when they
And
have
if there isn't, then that's a real mess.
right.
But I suspect any good director worth their salt with, a good heart is going to take time to say, are we all good? Let's talk this
Yeah.
through.
Right.
Right?
Yeah,
Like we
absolutely.
are with our own children.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. No, that's good. Yeah. So The movie was a success. Critics loved it. They hated it. I think over
Good.
time it's gotten, more praise than it did back when it first came out. Everyone says it's probably top two of the Halloween movies. Then the fifth one came out and it was kind of rushed into production, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, different director, different writer, different Rachel, unfortunately. I
Yep.
feel they just forgot everything what Rachel did in the fourth one. And
Here was my
yeah,
takeaway from five. Don't don't kill off your lead character unless, I mean, like always leave a little bit of an open end
yeah,
for possibilities, because then there's no way to ratify it.
right.
But I think even, I mean, I get it. It's the formula, and Dominique had his own, you know, that was up to his interpretation, a different script. Um, but I think even Mustafa Akkad, because I was standing next to him when he said it, he really regretted
Yeah,
it. Just because
right.
um, he didn't know there would be a backlash. I think
Yeah,
he just kept going, like, I don't know, we need to satisfy this by this time. This is what it's going to be. And it was just a missed opportunity, I guess.
yeah, I agree. I felt like, and also not even with just, killing you, but like the shower scene, like
I'm sorry,
it's something you
nobody
would not
wants to see
do.
Rachel in the shower. It's like seeing your cousin.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great point. Yeah, it really is. And then
truly.
yeah. And then you run outside and it's just it's something like
And the neighbor's
another
name was
character.
Mr. Cornish. I'm like a Cornish game hen?
Yeah.
Like that's a worst name. And then you
Yeah.
have, silly cops like out of,
With the stupid music. And
yeah,
it's, I
yeah.
just,
Anyway.
yeah. But, yeah, I always felt like Tina should have died there and you should have had the death that Tina did, sacrificing yourself
It would be
for,
really fun. I mean, they would never do this in a million years, but it would be fun if Dwight redirected Halloween 5 with a totally obviously young cast, like
yeah.
pick, find a lookalike of
Right.
Rachel, lookalike to
Yeah.
Danielle, and reshoot it
I
just
agree.
for just for
Yeah.
just for fun.
Yeah, and have Alan maybe write a new script.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Do you feel? I mean, do you feel like they kind of regretted not doing it, Alan and
God, that's
Dwight?
a good question. I'm going to ask Dwight. I'm going to ask
Okay.
him. I think maybe there's a part of him and all of us. I mean, I can't speak for Danielle, but I know for me, it's like, you kind of move on from it,
Right.
right? Like in a natural,
Yeah.
um, you don't want to stay back there. You want to keep going. And I'm sure for Dwight's career, he did go on to do a bunch of different
Yeah.
stuff. And so maybe he didn't look back. I don't know, but that's a great question for Dwight. I'm going to ask him next time I see
Okay.
him. I
Yeah.
would just be curious. Like,
Yeah.
was it ever a possibility?
Right. Because I mean, we're approaching the 40th anniversary of four soon, and then
Yeah,
obviously the following year would be five. But
that would be fun to release it on the 40th. All right,
yeah.
I'm gonna plug that to Dwight. I mean, even if no one went to see it, it would just be
Oh,
like,
people would go see it.
yeah.
Yeah, because
And I'm sure Malik Akkad would let it happen. I mean, I think anything to reinvigorate the franchise to keep it going. I think they
yeah,
would say, all right,
agreed.
I'm gonna pitch it to Dwight.
Yeah, because I mean, the I don't know how many movies this has been now. I can't keep track. Maybe 12 or something like that with the Rob
I don't
Zombie,
know.
and then they made the three after that.
Yep.
Um, Laurie's died so many times. She said 9 million
Yeah.
different kids. When they came out with I think Halloween H2O, when she came back to it, and they kind of ignored your movies. How did you feel?
Um, I didn't take it
Okay,
personally.
right.
I just don't. It's just it's a different animal. I mean, like I'm totally fine with just being proud of this little movie we made, and it doesn't have to be more than that.
Right.
Like people have pitched, here's how we bring Rachel back. I've got 75 ideas how we can do this. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
no, no, it's
Right.
okay that
Yeah.
it is what it is. And I mean, my goodness, Jamie Lee Curtis's career has gone through this stratosphere.
Yeah.
And that's exciting to watch. I don't care who you are, you can't deny that that is a really awesome story.
Right.
And it's not just her age and stage, it's all of it. It's all of it. It's really cool.
Yeah, no, and
She's paid her dues 100 times over, I suspect.
I'm sure.
So it's like you know, to be in that first Halloween, that was major.
Yeah. And it
I just had a
basically,
small part of a
right.
sequel. That's
Yeah.
all.
And that movie basically set up the whole slasher genre. And
Right. And
yeah.
then it slowly started getting kooky with Hellraiser,
Yeah.
these things. It was
Right,
like,
exactly.
what? Like all of a sudden,
Yeah.
the Texas Chainsaw, it's like
Right.
we started ratcheting it up the
Yeah.
ante,
Yeah.
right? So
Did
that's
you
why I'm excited about weapons.
like
Is
what
that
exactly? Right. Do you feel like maybe with five during that you had like Friday 13th part, I think six or seven, whatever, and then Nightmare on Elm Street that they kind of had to up like the kills and the gore to match those movies?
that's a great question. I don't know how much they pay attention to the other franchises. That's a good question. I don't know how much or how little went into it. Like
Right.
who was left holding the bag of like, where did this decision come down to? I don't know, but I do know that Mustafa Akkad was bummed.
Right. Okay.
He just felt like, oh, come on, why would we do
Yeah.
that?
Right.
In hindsight.
Yeah. And then one more nitpick about five. No one even asked about you after you died. You were just kind of dead and then just like, where's Rachel? Where's Rachel? And until we finally see your body, we see Danielle freak
Wow.
out. But Tina didn't ask about you.
Okay, I've answered a lot of Halloween questions. I've never heard of that one. I mean, I've
Really?
never heard that like,
Oh
yeah,
wow. Okay.
no, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like
yeah.
you're gone and it's like, oh, you're forgotten. And now, it's like, your father leaves, stepfather comes. Now Tina's your
I mean,
stepsister.
okay. Here's what could have and should have happened is that he dumps my body, carries my
Yeah.
body up to the attic and dumps it there. And when they're like, "Where's Rachel?" And they all go up there
You'll
and I'm
probably
gone.
say,
Like,
oh,
just leave it
there you
that
go.
way.
Yeah. That
And the
works too.
window's broken. Just
Yeah.
leave it somewhere.
Right. Just
But
leave the door open a little bit for it.
yeah. And
Yeah.
it's not about me or Danielle or Michael Myers. It's really about the audiences. Like, you're not giving the audiences the respect.
Yeah.
Like, they stayed with us.
Yeah, exactly. And how you mentioned before how like, Trekkies and horror fans are not dumb. And I feel
No,
that they dumbed it
no.
down.
And they felt
Yeah.
ripped. That's
Yeah.
why, that's why it got hammered.
Yeah. Because
You
you
know,
watch it and it's like, it's like,
I know. Like,
why? Why?
that's not a
Yeah.
good feeling.
Yeah. And then it just ruins the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I want to ask you also about, I know we talked about briefly before our free enterprise. And I know you executive produced that movie. How did that come about, the whole concept, and also getting Bill Shatner to do it?
We, we, uh, started a little production company
Okay.
because literally a house guest sent us a comedy script
Okay.
and we read it and it was laugh out loud funny and it was free enterprise and it was written um, by Mark Altman, who
Right.
is so intelligent and knows this stuff inside and out. And we decided to form a production company and shoot it, but we had to get Bill Shatner.
Right.
And basically, the production, offered him enough salary to make him say yes. And he knew it was a tiny independent film.
Right.
He was could not have been couldn't have been nicer, and the whole experience was awesome.
Yeah.
So again, it's fun when you work with, such big deals and you realize, he showed up, he hit his mark, he was great, he brought it, you
Yeah.
know.
And it was just such an out there character,
So out there,
and
but
it's great. It
yeah.
was really funny.
But
And
again, um, it's fun when you produce something for the fans. And I really felt like the Trekkies wanted something that was theirs.
Right.
Even if it was small and awkward and weird, I think they got the humor, they
Yeah.
got the laughs where no one else would, things
Right.
like that. So
Yeah.
it was really fun.
Right. And there was other science fiction references throughout the movie
Oh
too. You
God,
shouldn't
yeah.
have to be a Star Trek fan to,
Yeah.
enjoy
But I
them.
think in the end, fans love to like, sorry to go back to weapons,
Oh,
but
fine.
I even noticed some things in that and I was like, I know where they got that image. And I looked it up and I was right. It's like it's fun when it's not so obvious.
Right.
Like let us do some of the work.
Yeah.
And that to me is really about entertaining.
Yeah. And okay, one thing about weapons, I started with my wife, and at the end, when the kids are spoiler alert, when the kids are chasing the ant,
Yeah.
through the houses, all I can think of was the end of Ferris Bueller with the music going, and
Yeah.
it just cracked me up, and I'm just like to my wife, I'm like, imagine this with the Ferris Bueller music, and she looked at me, it's like she started laughing. I'm like, oh my God, that's so funny,
Yeah. Yeah,
it-
but it's that kind of thing. And
yeah, totally,
all of us that have grown up in the movies, it's bound to infiltrate your work. Like
yeah,
how not? And
right,
and that was such a okay. One little nugget about Ferris Bueller.
yeah,
First of all, I loved that movie. I think
right,
we all did. But
yeah,
I had I ended up doing an after school special with Lyman Ward,
okay,
Cindy Pickett, the mom
oh
and dad
wow, yeah,
from Ferris Bueller,
they
and
were
they ended up
married,
being my
right?
neighbors in the Palisades.
Okay.
It was just what a crazy
Yeah.
parallel. And
Right.
Lyman Ward, oh my God, we'd be getting ready to shoot, and he was always trying to make me laugh. I don't know. It was so much fun. I know
Right.
I use that word a lot, but it
Yeah.
was.
Yeah. I had Jonathan Schmock on the show
Yeah.
who played, the maitre d' and the
Yeah.
whole Abe Froman thing. And yeah, just it was amazing. Yeah, one last thing with Free Enterprise, obviously with William Shatner, and he was the basis of the Michael Myers mask. Did that ever come up with him?
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
I never really understood. Like I heard that and I'm like, huh, that's weird. I I don't know what to say about that. But yes, I think that's a thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't, it's not like I look at Michael Myers and think he looks like, right? The Michael Myers
Yeah.
mask. Shatner?
Yeah. Which
Yeah,
it's kind of weird, but
it is weird.
if you really stare at it, you can totally see it.
Yes, that parallel is odd beyond
Which is kind
measure.
of funny.
Yes.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
ties the two franchises together.
In a very strange way.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then the fourth one, real quick, Michael Myers had the blonde hair in that one scene where he throws Loomis out the window in the school. That kind of slipped through the cracks.
Yes. And that's the other thing about, that's why you have script supervisors. Like fans are smart.
Yeah.
Fans are smart. And I saw something the other night where there was just a bad editing cut. I'm like, come on,
Yeah.
don't let
Yeah.
that slide.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm sure it was just a time crunch and it's gonna go
Oh
back
yeah.
and shoot it and everything
Oh
like
yeah. And
that.
everyone's like, do we spend the money or do we move
Yeah.
on? And I just, you know, what it's like out there. It's like after a while, you're like, we gotta move
Yeah.
on.
Right.
Right. Tick,
Yeah.
tick, 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 tick.
Exactly. But now it's like you have the technology to pause it right where and see
Yes.
it when it came out. All you had the VCRs, and so it was a lot harder to do that.
I can't, I have no idea what it's like to actually make a movie now with so much AI and
Yeah,
it's just so different.
right. I keep coming up with these questions, and I apologize. When you got the script, how secretive was it for you? Well, I mean, because Halloween 4, it's the first time we're seeing Michael Myers again. I mean, was it real? Like, because now
Um,
it's like with Marvel movies and Star Wars movies, it's impossible to get the scripts anywhere. But like, was it pretty secretive back then?
no, that's a great question. No, I don't know. Because I've been on auditions where you're on lockdown. I mean, and
Yeah.
to this day, every time I have an audition, it's got my name on it with
Okay.
a number
Right.
strewn across every single page. So if I leak it, they know it was
They know
me.
it's you.
Yeah, so there's ways that they can, but I remember the one that was the most secretive was Mad Men.
Okay.
I mean, it was a lockdown. And
Right.
of course, you're not even really getting the actual script, but just everything surrounding it was very protective. But no, I don't recall Halloween 4 as being,
Okay.
I didn't have to sign anything or
Right. Okay.
yeah, but that's a great that's a great question. That's
Yeah.
no one's ever asked me. So
Oh
good
wow.
question.
Okay. All right. Thanks. I'm full of them now. Yeah. And we'll leave you this one. Any piece of memorabilia that you took off set? Anything you
Oh God,
wore or
yes.
there? Yeah.
I just found it. In fact, my set jacket,
Okay.
the swag, they gave us great swag. I also really like I saved everything, all my scripts, all that stuff, but there was one of our drivers would sit and sketch us, but also just things he was looking at, like the lighting truck.
Right.
It gave me a bunch of those charcoals. I love those. The makeup lady gave me a beautiful oilcloth, like ranch coat. It
Okay.
was magnificent. Um, I have a poster of Halloween, and just about everyone has signed it. And someday I'll give it to an organization or auction it off for
Yeah.
a nonprofit, something. But
Right.
um, yeah, no, I'm very sentimental about those things.
Yeah.
Even little Polaroids like the the wardrobe Polaroids
Yeah.
for like wound consistency,
Okay.
you know,
Yeah.
the scraped, is it blood, all that stuff I saved because you forget.
Yeah.
And it's fun to show my kids, and it'll be fun to show my grandkids, it's a
Right.
moment in time.
Yeah. It's true because then all we had are Polaroids. Well, now you could just
Yeah.
record on your cell phone. It's so easy to have, and it's so
See?
yeah. So glad you have like a shoebox of this Polaroids where you can kind of reminisce.
And also the rewrites,
Yeah.
the pages in the different colors. Have you gotten the yellow pages? No, I just have
Right.
the green ones. It's like even that is keeps you on your toes.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But this was so much fun, Ellie. I
So
really
much
appreciate
fun.
your time. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Enjoy the wedding
Okay.
and maybe we'll get rework of Halloween 5 for the 40th anniversary.
I'm gonna pitch it, and
Okay.
I'm gonna ask for some sort of producing credit.
Oh, absolutely. I'm
It
sure
was
that'll
it
work.
was
Yeah.
my idea, and you're
Maybe,
on there too.
okay. Well, maybe they'll do a Kickstarter or something like that to fund
Yeah.
the movie. That'd be great. But
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Stay well.
You too. Bye. And a special thanks to Ellie for joining me today. And if you have a guest suggestion, hit me up on X, formerly Twitter, at @thepersonal19. Be sure to like the page Relive My Youth on Facebook. You can go to iTunes, check out all the past episodes we've had. While you're there, please rate and review the show. I really appreciate it. If you don't have iTunes, not a problem. Show's on SoundCloud, Spotify, Podbean, Amazon Music, YouTube, basically wherever you can find a podcast. A new episode will come out soon. Stay safe, everybody. We'll see you then.